Hey, Crispy Cat, starting the show. What's up with that?
Prepare yourself.
What happens when you get here early, buddy? Yo.
Prepare yourself.
What's up, everybody? We got Cyber Reload in the house.
Prepare yourself.
Ready for a show. I'm just going to close a couple of extra windows so my stuff runs right. That should do it. I'm going to refresh that page. Weird. Move. Fucking dude. Unreal.
Fuck you, Michelle Bachman. Fuck you. Lying and dying. It's you read. I'll let it from your mouth. Fuck you, fucking Levi's jeans. Fuck you, Ben Johnson. Fuck you. Sick of your loathsome little dick. Line and take her, cashing your chips. You still ain't riding, self-loathing hypocrite. Blame it on radio, all the woman in red. Levi's clothing company. It's all your starts with an F. Oh shit! Fuck you! 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 Fuck you all the numbers! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fucking shit! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you all! Fuck you, motherfuckers! Fuck you, Hollywood! Fuck you! Fuck you, motherfuckers! Fuck you! Fuck y'all! Fuck off!
Hello! Trendies! Trendy, everybody in live with Cyber Reload from Denmark, and I'm in Orlando, Florida, home of Trendy House Drivers and all things trendy. We'll find me and you, the hashtag Trendies, on all forums, social media, especially Rumble. That's where they give us free speech. So come to Rumble, rumble.com, or download it on your phone and watch from Rumble right now. Okay. Just gotta check the focus on this camera. It has been acting like a little bitch. The autofocus has just not been working. So I'm just going to manually focus it, I guess. Maybe do a couple other things here, too. Let's mess with the exposure. You know, sometimes when you put it on automatic, it's just not what you want. And the sharpness can come up. But I still feel like I'm out of focus. You know, it's like maybe there's a fingerprint on my lens. Holy shit, I think that's what it was. I think that's what it was. Okay, cool. That makes sense, because I was messing with the camera a few times. I must have hit it with my finger by accident. Should I go back to autofocus? Dude, I put it on autofocus and nothing changes. It's so weird. Okay, we'll just... Oh, it's on low light compensation? Let's put that on too. Okay. Okay, so, Max Blumenthal is a fucking idiot, and so's Jimmy Dore for putting him on his show all the time, and so is the Gray Zone for hiring him. I mean, at some point when somebody's pissing on your leg and telling you it's raining, you have to realize that your pants leg's wet, you know, and that it's not raining, and you got to look out the window. You know, you got to go look out the window and verify it. Then you could tell that guy to go fuck off. But for some reason, everyone gives Max Blumenthal all this credit. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why they give him credit. And it doesn't make sense, I know, but I'm going to tell you why, and it kind of sucks. But whenever you put yourself out there and you work hard, and no matter what you do, people are going to give you credit for your hard work. No matter what you do, they're gonna definitely notice that you work to do what you do. And Max definitely has gone around the world and reported and done his building of his brand by reporting and doing all the things that journalists do. Getting published, getting on podcasts, getting interviewed, becoming a guest on Jimmy Dore's show, becoming a guest on, so many other people's podcasts. That's a lot of work and that's a lot of time. Absolutely. And a lot of people just blindly give him credit for that without actually asking him, hey, Max, where'd you get your information from? No one ever does that. No one ever questions him. No one ever pushes back against him, ever. Is it because they just like him so much that he's just so likable? I don't think he's that likable of a person. I mean, I guess as far as people go, he's okay, but I get turned off when I know that somebody's a fucking liar. And I don't see how people don't see that in him. Or maybe this. Maybe he lies for them. Maybe he says exactly what they all want to hear so they don't push back and they don't question it. Because he's toting their narratives for them. Maybe I've hit on something there. Of course I had. That's exactly why he gets the pass. Because he's saying what all these fucking cunts like Jimmy Dore want to hear. So when you see Max Blumenthal on somebody's podcast, on someone's show, remember this one thing. Whoever's hosting him and not pushing back, they're the guilty party. They're the ones that are fucking lying to your face. They bring their little attack dog on there to do their dirty work for them. Max Blumenthal. They bring him on. He does the attack and all that shit, and they sit back there and they stroke him and say what a wonderful, attack dog he is. And he does exactly what his job is to do, is to fucking spin the narrative, whatever it is they're trying to push on you, to try to convince you in his special little way. Here's the thing. If you really listen to Max Blumenthal, he's not fucking convincing one bit. If you just listen to him, he's not convincing. I've watched him. I've watched him with his COVID misinformation, his mask misinformation, his science disinformation, his fucking Middle East disinformation, his Syria disinformation, his fucking climate change disinformation. It's a long fucking list. He's a massive disinformant. He's a massive misinformant. Whatever the word is, that's him. And he's a fucking liar. I'll call him a liar to his fucking face. Max Blumenthal, you're a fucking liar. No one else has the balls anywhere to do that. No one. I mean, they could, say, I don't like him, or blah, 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 or they'll say something bad about him, or, oh, that fucking lefty, or, oh, that fucking stupid independent, or blah, 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 and they'll say all that, but they won't just get down to what really drives it all, is that he's giving you inaccurate information, and to people that don't like him, they don't realize that. They're so fucking dumb. They think he's telling them that even the people that disagree with him think he's coming with facts and telling the truth, and they just don't like it, and they fucking, I don't like what he's saying, blah, blah, blah. No. Check his fucking sources. Oh, well, so-and-so said this. Well, I heard that, and when I put it all together, I conclude this, and blah, 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 and it never fucking stops with that guy, right? So I took some time, earlier, I brought up this interview that he was doing. And I listened to him, and I listened closely. And man, I just had to pause and stop myself and say, dude, you bring this huge narrative, and I'm going to tell you what the narrative is, right? You bring this huge narrative like you're exposing the evil behind everything. without any facts. Oh, one person said this and one person said that. Literally, that's his, one person said this on the radio and one person said that. Some administrator said this. He doesn't show you any evidence. He never brings any fucking proof to back up anything he says. And he never has any notes in front of him. You guys ever notice that when Max is talking? He's just like this, blah, 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 droning, looking right at the camera, and he's got all of his points memorized. And my question is this, how accurate can all that be? If every time you see Max Blumenthal, and he's always talking about something different, and he never has any notes, how the fuck much information can he really hold in his brain accurately? Seriously, is he a human computer? Who can do that? I'll tell you who can do it. Fucking nobody can do it. Not all the information that he claims to have in his fucking brain. There's no way. The only way that works is when you're just making shit up. And, he can do that because nobody's going to fact check him and nobody's going to hold his feet to the fucking fire. And especially Jimmy Dore won't do it. And Brianna Joy Gray won't fucking do it. And goddamn any other fucking dumb cunt podcasters out there that ever host Max Blumenthal that don't do it, they won't fucking do it either. No one does. I challenge you to find Max Blumenthal in an actual debate where someone's able to look at the facts and go, well, you're lying about this, you're lying about that, you're lying about this, you're lying about that, you're lying about this. Wait. You're lying about all this shit. You're lying about everything on this list, Max. How do you explain this lie? Let's start with the first fucking lie. Let's just start with the first lie. Why are you saying what you're saying, and what the fuck is wrong with you? I know you guys are all like, wait, who the fuck is this talking about Robert Kennedy? Yeah, who the fuck is that guy? Big Booty Judy. Who the fuck are you? Who is that? Patrick John Welder? I'm about to block you. I'm about to block you from my Rumble, dude. Alright. Let me just tell you guys, I don't fucking care who you support politically. I don't fucking care who you decide to fucking vote for. It's when you come in here and you try to say one of them is the man, or one of them is this, or one of them is that. And let me tell you something. You're fucking pissing on my leg and telling me it's raining, dude. Shut the fuck up. Okay? Nobody cares who the fuck you're gonna vote for in here. You're an idiot for playing into their system, and I don't care who you select. Number two, that motherfucker's an anti-vaxxer, anti-science, and claims that the vaccine causes autism. You fucking idiot! Get out of here with your bullshit! God, man. Shut the fuck up, dude. You're not fucking telling anybody how to vote on my live stream with your stupid fake fucking name. Hey, Lordy Nordy, how's it going? Now, you better fucking respond to me or I'm gonna block you. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is a numb nut. Okay? He's a fucking whack job. Don't you ever fucking come in here and try to promote that fucking cocksmoker on my live stream ever again. Or any other politician as far as that goes. All we're talking about here is truth. And as soon as you mention a politician, you're a fucking liar. Really, dude? You're not going to respond? You're not. I'm going to block you, bro, if you don't respond. I'm going to give you like another minute, and if you don't fucking respond, I'm going to block you from my live stream with your stupid fucking name. You come back here with a real fucking name. You're running out of time. I have no fucking patience for your bullshit. Your timid bullshit today. Better fucking hurry. You better say something. It's going to be welcome to my block list in about 30 seconds, bitch. I don't know who that fucker is. You guys don't come in here with the right names, I can't keep you fucking straight. And it fucking pisses me off that your little troll cunt asses do that shit. Anyway, fucking come up with a brand. Alright, figure out who the fuck you are. And then stick with that. Thank you, Lordy Nordy. I appreciate you agreeing with me. It's very nice. Oh, you're not going to say anything? Welcome to my block list, bitch. You thought I was kidding, right? You thought I was fucking kidding, didn't you? You're forever blocked. Don't fucking come back until you can figure out a normal name to use, and I don't fucking care if you're forever blocked on my Rumble again. Anybody that comes in here and tries to say any of these cunts makes a good president, leader for you, fuck off. You all lose. All of you fucking lose when you choose one of these candidate cunts. You're a fucking idiot. Stop. All right? Stop playing their fucking game. Yeah, Mr. fucking anti-vaxxer, vaccines cause autism. Yeah, that's a great guy to fucking put at the leader of the goddamn free world. You fucking idiot. I mean, at least Donald Trump did Operation Warp Speed, and I will fucking give him credit for that. At least he wasn't an anti-vaxxer. Donald Trump! Donald fucking Trump, you fucking idiot! Sped that fucking vaccine and saved millions of lives. All of you anti-vax Trump supporters, how do you fucking rationalize that in your moronic brains? I'm just kind of wondering, how do you rationalize through that one? Censored and forgotten. Silenced. Yeah, you know. You don't want to fucking respond to me? You're going to come in here and talk some shit like you think you fucking know what you're talking about? Really? Have you... I mean, the fact is, he's never come in here and fucking had an actual conversation that made sense with me about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. You know, and if he'd listened to anything I'd fucking said about that guy, and if he trusted my word, he'd fucking would have backed off that shit. Trump pioneered the vax. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't say pioneered it, but he definitely sped it up, and he was instrumental in getting a bunch of moronic Trump supporters to get the vax, which was a fucking miracle. It's just too bad he was anti-mask, and it's too bad cunts like Max Blumenthal try to convince their audiences that masks are the way the government controls you and prevents you from having freedom with a fucking piece of plastic over your mouth to slow down a pandemic. That's one of the bullshit narratives that Max Blumenthal tells you and his entire audience, and when he goes on Jimmy Dore's, when he goes anywhere, he literally says that. Masks are a way the government wants to control you. Really, how'd that go? I'm just kind of wondering. So it was masks first, then what was it? Then what was the next right there? Oh, that's right, there wasn't anything else. Nothing came after masks. Funny, right? Nothing came after masks. Well, first they're going to make us wear masks, and then they're going to lock us down, and then they're going to take away, then they're going to insert microchips in all of us, and then they're going to be watching us with mosquito drones, and then they're going to be shipping us off into trains, and they're going to be putting us in FEMA camps, and then it never ends, right? Except nothing happened after they fucking made us all wear masks. They didn't try to make you do anything else, did they? Huh, Max, what happened to that? Oh, I thought you said that was just the first step, Max. In government control. In getting us used to accepting our leaders without question, right? Without questioning it. Maybe some of us decided not to question science because we trusted, all the fucking data that had come out on masks. Maybe some of us, Max, maybe some of us, Max, went out on the internet and actually read up on some of the fucking studies that have been done around masks. We watched podcasters who talked about the science behind masks. We learned that it really does slow a pandemic down when everybody fucking plays ball. Everybody wins. So I'm sure that you're all wondering, you're sitting here and you're like, what do you have on Max, bro? You got something? You're talking about a video. Yeah, I do. And I think you're going to like the subject matter as well. Because it has everything to do with what's going on in the world today that we're all worried about, that we're all talking about. Right? And he gets into it with Christopher Hitchens, I want to say. I think that's the guy's name. Chris Hedges. He has a very nice interview with Christopher Hedges. And as I was watching it, the only reason I watched it was because I had a feeling he wasn't going to have any he wasn't going to have any facts. He wasn't going to have any evidence from legitimate sources to back up any of his bullshit that he's pushing down our throats. Now, Here's a big problem with everything we're going to be talking about. I'm going to roll it up into a nice ball of yarn for you real quick before we do the show. That's for everybody that leaves because you don't have the patience to sit through the video and listen to me talk about it. This is what it boils down to. It boils down to when you're talking about whatever's going on in the Middle East right now. When you stick to the facts and you tell people what's going on, let's just stick to the facts here. 4,000, let's just say 3,000 dead kids. Okay? Let's not even take the numbers. Let's cut it in half. Let's say 2,000 dead kids in Palestine. Accurate enough for you guys? They're saying 4,500 kids are dead. So let's just say it's 2,000 dead children. Okay? So 2,000 dead kids. And they're telling the whole population to leave their homes. The entire population, leave your homes. They tell them to go south. And then what do they just say? We're going to be attacking the south now. There's enough evidence of what's going on over there to present that on a platter, a silver platter, to anybody. And that's why the world is siding with the Palestinian people right now. You know, they're siding because the truth is coming out and we're seeing the evidence of what's going on. Now, here's what happens. When someone like Max Blumenthal comes along and he wants to do the same thing, he wants to make Israel look bad. He wants everyone to see how evil they are. And he decides, I'm going to make up some shit that I've heard on the internet. I'm going to play into that. I'm going to straw man it up to make them look even worse. And here's what happens. Some smart Israeli person or a Jewish person comes along or someone that's pro-Israel and they listen to that and they go, well, you're just a fucking liar, dude. I mean, you don't even have to be pro-Israel or pro-Jewish to understand how much of a fucking liar he is. Even if it's your narrative, if it suits your narrative, it doesn't matter which side you're on. If you're on the side of the truth and you just listen to the words coming out of his mouth, at some point you're going to be like, dude, I don't think so, man. I mean, even if you are, you know, you're going out in the street and you're holding up signs from the river to the sea and you're marching with the Palestinian flag and you're saying that you are pro the Palestinian people and you want freedom, you want Gaza free. Even if you're saying all that, as soon as you hear what Max Blumenthal has to say, you're going to be like, no, what? Really? With what evidence? I don't know. So in the ball of yarn is, yeah, the narrative is, I agree with, there's something really bad going on over there. It's fucking genocide. Yes, there's a genocide going on over there. It's fucking horrible. I'm not in denial about those facts. It needs to stop. There needs to be a ceasefire. All that shit needs to happen. I totally agree with that. But when Max Blumenthal comes along and tries to say that, you know, Adolf fucking Hitler has come back from the dead and has resurrected the SS, and they're loading the Jews into the ovens, or they're loading the fucking Palestinians. It doesn't even matter. Whatever bullshit he makes up. Then people are going to listen to that, and they might be on one side of the fence or the other, and they might just be like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I don't even care. You're gonna piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. Fuck you. Okay? So let's pull up this video. And I just want to say this. The title of the video is important AF. Listen to what this title is. It says, what really happened in Israel on October 7th? With a question mark. It's a question mark. What really happened? Max Blumenthal, the Chris Hedges report. So, by putting this title up, it seems like they're going to answer the question. So, are you going to tell us what really happened? You know, I mean, I could ask anybody what happened on October 7th in Israel. I could ask anybody, any human being, what happened. You know what the answer would be? Basically, a bunch of Hamas terrorists went into Israel and killed a whole bunch of Jews. Pretty basic, right? That was easy. That'll make you feel something. That might make you go, hey man, there's something wrong there. We might have to take a look at this and see what the fuck just happened. But you're definitely going to be like sympathetic towards the people who are dead, the people who are who have been abducted by terrorists, and to the people on the other side of that who have been controlled by Hamas and haven't been able to get out from underneath their rule, and have been made to accept the brunt of the attacks from Israel now. It's like you walk up to this big bully, right? And you got your little friend standing next to you, and you go up behind the bully, and you fucking punch him in the arm, and you duck down. He turns around, and all he sees is that little dude, and he just knocks that motherfucker out because he thought he did it. That's what Hamas is doing to the Palestinian people, and Israel's the bully that's turning around and punching the Palestinian people instead of Hamas. Was that a good enough analogy for you guys to understand the situation? It's basically what's going on. Did I need to get technical and try to say there's witnesses that saw this and that, and I heard this on the radio, and I'm just going to make up these facts and just say them because I don't have to, right? It's pretty bad and it should stop. And that's where it should end. And if you've got evidence that shows it's worse, we'll accept the evidence. But hearsay ain't evidence. And people like Chris Hedges have Max Blumenthal to say what he heard one other person say. One person. And this is what happened on October 7th, man. Because one human being that had one narrow experience from that whole day, seems to know the whole conspiracy behind what Max is claiming. And you might be wondering right now, dude, nay, what did Max say, man? I mean, yeah, terrorists went over there and they killed a bunch of people, man. What the hell? How could he spin that? Oh, he could spin it all right. And we're going to watch, and you're going to see the spin. And I want you guys to pay attention. I don't want you guys to fall off and get lazy and leave my fucking show. Okay? So don't be like that. I want you to pay attention, and I want you to understand. Someone who's held in such high regard as Max Blumenthal has millions of ears on him all day. Eyes on him all the time. He gets to go to Congress, and he gets to... He gets to go out there and be held up on a pedestal for lying to people. And me, the guy that's always just telling you the truth of everything, I get subverted and I get hidden. It's important that you understand the difference between someone like Max Blumenthal, who's larger than sliced bread right now. He's fucking everywhere. And someone like me, who's being fucking dusted under a little inconvenient corner and then covered up by all the social media. It's important. And if one of you that's watching this, or two of you that are watching this, if this resonates with you, let me know, man. Let me know in the chat. I'd love to hear from the people that are going to listen to this and walk away with the point. And I'm going to tell you the point before we even start. The point is, I get subverted and Max gets put up on a pedestal. Max has all of the attention, all of the possible the reach that a podcaster could have, and I have nothing. And I want you to pay attention very closely to who's the guy that tells you the truth all the time, and who's the guy that lies all the time. And isn't it kind of weird and ironic that people who lie today get to be president of the United States? Joe Biden, Donald Trump, both huge fucking liars. They've been proven to be proven liars their whole lives. It's all they've ever fucking done is told lies. About themselves, about everything. They fucking lie. Both of them, president of the United States. Why? Because we reward liars. Benjamin Netanyahu, fucking liar. We gave him the goddamn, basically the prime ministership of Israel, right? These fucking leaders, all of them are fucking liars. And they get what? They get to go to our Senate and decide, they get to go vote in the House. So look at this George Santos fucking cunt. Lied about everything. He stole money from a fucking veteran. The guy that had a sick dog, and he took the money for his sick dog, and the guy's dog died. This should make you want to vomit, all of you. And that people like me aren't being amplified by cunts like Elon Musk, by cunts like fucking Mark Zuckerberg. So, let's go ahead and start this video. I want you guys to pay attention. It's
unquote terrorist.
This is I've got 26 minutes and it's a 41-minute video, and I only got 26 minutes in. So let's go back to the beginning. Now there's a stupid fucking intro. Let me get past all this bullshit. And here's Christopher Hedges.
1986 instituted a military policy called
now,
the Hannibal Directive.
Once again,
apparently named for the Carthaginian general who poisoned himself rather than be captured by the Romans.
Let's hear that again.
Israel in 1986 instituted a military policy called the Hannibal Directive, apparently named for the Carthaginian general who poisoned himself rather than be captured by the Romans.
I'd like the evidence for that, so I guess I'm going to have to fucking Google that, because that's the premise of this. So hold on one second. Let me pull Chris Hedges up here, so you're not just hearing a voice. All right. God damn it, so hard to find the goddamn. Okay. Let me just look that up.
Commanders were, quote, compelled to request an aerial strike against its own facility inside the Erez crossing to Gaza in order to repulse the terrorists who had seized control. That base housed Israeli civil administration officers and soldiers. Israel in 1986 instituted a military policy called the Hannibal Directive.
Okay. The Hannibal Directive is a controversial procedure used by Israeli defense forces to prevent the capture of Israeli soldiers by enemy forces. In one version, it was that the kidnapping must be stopped by all means, even if the price of the striking and harming our own forces. The directive was revoked in 2016 to be replaced by a new directive of unknown content. It was introduced in 1986 after a number of abductions of IDF soldiers in Lebanon and subsequent controversial prisoner exchanges. The full text of the directive was not published, and until 2003, Israeli military censorship forbade any discussion of the subject in the press. The directive has been changed several times. So Israel's not telling people what their intent is. They're not being transparent with their policy. Transparency in policy is required from any government. Absolutely. The people that live there, those soldiers, if I'm going to put my life on the line for Israel and Israeli people, I want to know that if I get captured, they're not going to fucking bomb me where I'm being held by Hamas soldiers. And if that's the case, I'm not fighting for your fucking army. What in my country, in America, we have a saying here in our military, it says no man left behind. And they take that very seriously. And for Israel to have a policy that claims, hey, Garlic, my name is Nay. I'll give you like 1 minute to correct yourself in the chat, and then I'm going to block you. I'm going to block you. If you can't call me Nay, bro, I'm going to block you. You got 1 minute. Fucking come in here and call me Nate.
Nate? Jesus
I mean, I would assume that's a spell check thing, but you know what? Check your spell checker before you send off a text. And at least tell me, hey man, Nay, I mean Nay. Let me know you know my name. Go ahead.
I played with another Nay the other day in COD.
Really?
It was a dark Nay. Yeah, dark Nay, dark, and then a dash and Nay, dark Nay.
D-A-R-K, dark?
Yeah.
Nice. I like that, like the evil side of me. Garlic, you got about 30 seconds. I am going to block you from my live stream. All you got to do is respond. You just type out the word Nay, but if you can't do it, you're going to get blocked, and I am going to block you. No. I'm not asking for an apology. I just want you to call me the right name. I don't need an apology. I'm just asking you to call me Nay. That's it. And I want to make sure that you understand how to write my name. It's good that you responded. I was going to block you. I still will block you. Understand. Okay, you're blocked. Oh, okay. You spelled it wrong. N-E-Y is wrong. Okay. So since you spelled it N-E-Y, I'm going to go ahead and block you anyway. You had your chance. You had your chance. You had your chance. Come back with your real name, dumbass. So, okay, so transparency is important, right? At the same time, we don't know what that fucker what it says. We don't know if it's okay for Israel to go killing their own people. Why? Because it literally says right here, it wasn't published. And until 2003, Israeli military censorship forbade any discussion of the subject in the press. Wow. They sound fucking evil. That sounds Nazi-esque. That is really bad. And I will totally give Max and I'll give Chris credit for this one fact. But this one fact doesn't mean anything else that Max says is true, because this is supposedly their policy. But let's read a little bit more. It says 2 versions of the Hannibal Directive may have existed simultaneously at times: a written version accessible only to the upper echelon of the IDF, and an oral law version for division commanders and lower levels. Does that mean you get a blowjob while you read the text? I don't know. In the latter version, by all means, was often interpreted literally as an IDF soldier was better dead than abducted. In 2011, IDF Chief Staff Benny Gantz stated the directive does not permit killing IDF soldiers to prevent abduction. Wow, Max. Well, did you not realize that was in the fucking Wikipedia, dude? 2011. So, hey, maybe Chris Hedges could check something before he takes Max Blumenthal's word for it. Maybe he could have Wikipedia'd it too, like we just did. And you find out literally right here, it says, the chief of staff of the fucking IDF in 2011 publicly stated the directive does not permit killing of IDF soldiers to prevent abduction. And I know what you guys are wondering. Dude, what is this leading to? Oh, you might know, you might not know. Either way, this is going to be very interesting for you to find out what Max is going to allege. Okay, among the 11 Israelis involved in the 7 reported Hannibal incidents, only 1 soldier survived. In his case, invocation of the Hannibal Directive occurred too late to have any influence on the course of events. There is only 1 case for which Israeli forces have been officially confirmed to be directly responsible for an Israeli death. In other words, they did try to bomb out a place where they were holding a hostage, and they ended up killing the hostage too. One time. It did happen. So it's not like every time a soldier gets killed, they go and they wipe out the whole neighborhood where they're being held. They don't do that. It's very interesting the way Max and Chris portray this. Now we've got a little background on it, and they're hoping that none of their audience members will Wikipedia this thing and find out what we just found out. You're going to hear it because of the way they portray it to you and their audience. So listen to this.
Its own facility inside the Erez crossing to Gaza in order to repulse the terrorists who had seized control. That base housed Israeli civil administration officers and soldiers. Israel in 1986 instituted a military policy called the Hannibal Directive, apparently named for the Carthaginian general who poisoned himself rather than be captured by the Romans.
You don't know that.
Following the capture of 2 Israeli soldiers by Hezbollah. The directive is designed to prevent Israeli troops from falling into enemy hands through the maximum use of force, even at the cost of killing the captured soldiers and civilians.
So, for a directive that is non-published, he certainly seems to know a lot about it. No one knows what it says, dude, and you're acting like you're reading it as if it's doctrine. Weird, right? Isn't that weird? It's like, this is what the directive states, and this is what it means, and blah, blah, blah.
The directive was executed during the 2014 Israeli assault on Gaza, known as...
Notice how they use the word executed? He used the word executed. He did that on purpose. Because, someone may have ended up dying, so he wants to make it sound like Israel executed one of their own soldiers.
Operation Protective Edge.
And look.
Hamas fighters...
And let me ask you this. You're an Israeli soldier. You're an IDF soldier, right? And you're being held hostage by, let's say, 40 Hamas soldiers are in your compound. You're an IDF soldier. And you're sitting there being held, and you're like, you know what? If you kill me, you get to kill 40 of these motherfuckers too. How many IDF soldiers would be okay with that? I have a feeling a lot of them would be okay with that. Think about it. 40 lives gone. You too, but think about a suicide bomber. Sometimes they kill 15, 20 people. They're dead too. They're one of the dead. So what an IDF soldier, someone who's pledged to give his life for the defense of Israel and for the Israeli people, you think some of them might be okay with, yeah, come fucking drop a bomb on this place and kill all these motherfuckers that abducted me. Probably, right? Probably. So, maybe not as horrific as he wants to paint it with what he's saying, because I have a feeling that some soldiers are fucking perfectly fine with that shit. They know when they go out every day, it doesn't matter which side of this thing they're on. It doesn't matter if they're on the Palestinian. I'm sorry, I can't come up with the word. It doesn't matter if they're on the Palestinian side or the Israeli side. These people are willing and ready, and American soldiers too, ready to give their fucking lives. I mean, think about Ukraine and Russia. How many soldiers have given their lives to die? And they didn't even question it. They're like, shot in the head, boom, they're dead. Okay, next. So soldiers seem to be okay with giving their lives for doing what they're doing. So maybe not as horrible as they're trying to make it sound.
On August 1st, 2014, captured an Israeli soldier, Lieutenant Hadar Golden. In response, Israel dropped more than 2,000 bombs, missiles, and shells on the area where he was being held.
Yes,
Golden.
that's true. And we read about that guy. That's in Wikipedia. That's the one soldier that they killed that one time. Okay.
He was killed, along with over 100 Palestinian civilians.
And 100 Palestinian civilians were also killed. Now, understand that what he's doing right now is he's straw-manning Max's argument. He's straw-manning. He's trying to build, oh, well, look what Israel did in 1986, man. Really? 1986? So that proves what they're doing today? Sadly, no.
Rescinded in 2016.
A lot of straw-manning here.
Joining me to discuss the reports of Israel shelling its own citizens with tanks and missiles is Max Blumenthal, who investigated this for the Gray Zone.
When a tank fires a round, is that considered shelling? I thought shelling was mortar fire.
Yeah, I thought too. I mean, a tank can fire a shell, but normally the term
Shelling.
comes from
Mortar fire.
mortar fire.
Okay, all right.
So you did a wonderful job piecing together these reports that are coming out of Israel. Why don't you just lay out what Israeli commanders faced after roughly 10 hours, several hours after this incursion, and then, of course, perhaps give me some details about what you found out.
43.
Thanks, Chris. I'm
43,
still trying
30.
to piece together what happened on October 7th. And what
Okay, there you go. That is the big reveal. Before he opens up his fat mouth, he decides to give himself blanket immunity for anything else that he's about to say. Oh, I'm trying to piece it all together. Really? Because after you hear him speak, it sounds like he's got the whole thing all figured out. And you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm trying to piece it all together. Dude, you barely have any pieces to put together at all. For what he's going to say, he's got no evidence.
the reason that I'm sort of left investigating even after this report that I thought was comprehensive.
Cheers,
was that in
Cyber.
the
Cheers,
face
everyone.
of
Tropical
so
Thing,
much
Token Tony
death
Z,
and
Kepper,
destruction
Lordy Nordy, Hippie Chick, hello,
caused by
Hippie Chick,
Israel's military
Trendy
in
Drewski,
Gaza, which is
Steve Running,
basically tantamount to
Azamat.
genocide. I mean, you have systematic
Cheers, guys.
killing in Gaza.
Cheers.
Everyone I know
Cheers,
there
everybody.
has. Luckily, I don't know anyone who's been killed, but everyone I know there has lost neighbors or relatives. They've all lost their homes. And so the Israeli military and the Prime Minister's office, Netanyahu's office, are recycling October 7th atrocities, and they're also introducing new deceptions in order to try to keep the media's lens focused on October 7th now that it is starting to home in on the horror of Gaza. And we have all these new stories about babies baked in ovens. We've heard stories about babies cut out of mothers' wombs by so-called Hamas terrorists, rape, gang rape, women after being taken captive, gang raped in the streets in Gaza City. All of these lies were spun out, and of course the 40 beheaded babies repeated by Biden, who claimed he'd seen photographs. All of these lies were repeated and put forward in order to give Israel the latitude to carry out this genocidal assault that we're now witnessing. And we can see Biden was...
So that's all true. Everything that Max just said is true, but this is how he's strawmanning you. This is how he's strawmanning his audience. Like, because they did all this, I know that this is all true too, right? It's a preponderance of straw that he's got.
so stunned by the propaganda that was being pushed on him by Netanyahu's office and the pro-Israel media that he immediately caved. And Tony Blinken, in his recent Senate testimony, also repeated some of these lies. So I'm still trying to unpack it because it's these lies that went beyond the actual killings and atrocities that were committed by gunmen from the Gaza Strip on October 7th that have made it possible for Israel to target and exterminate hundreds of entire families in the Gaza Strip as well as hospitals.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so, you know, if Max was able to adhere to these facts and just pontificate on it, I could do that. Everything he just said I could talk about for 20 hours. You know? Relatable shit. But instead, he goes down into this road of conspiracy nutjob bullshit, which is the exact same stuff that he engages in when he's featured on Jimmy Dore's show or on other podcasts. This is, you're about to see from the shiny exterior of Max Blumenthal and why so many people love and respect him, to the disgusting, exposed, naked underbelly of what he really is, which is a fucking shill and a fucking liar for his own narrative. Whatever his narrative is, he's willing to produce for you all kinds of pieces of straw, just like a Ben Shapiro argument, to try to make his point. He is the Ben Shapiro of the left, or of the independents.
Started my investigation when testimony started to filter out in Israeli media.
So I love that. And if you could see anything, it's the way he says the word "started my investigation" and then does this kind of drawn out swallow thing where it looks like he's very uncomfortable in calling it an investigation. So let's go back and watch his reaction as he says the word "my investigation"
in the Gaza Strip as well as hospitals and medical centers.
Here.
So I started my investigation when testimony started to filter out in Israeli media, which contravened the official story about.
Okay, let's go back. Let's go back one more time and listen to what he says after he says investigation.
Hundreds of entire families in the Gaza Strip as well as hospitals and medical centers. So I started my investigation when testimony started to filter out in Israeli media, which contravened the official story.
Okay, so testimony is filtering out in the Israeli media. This is his source. It's testimony, not testimony from a court, sworn oath under the penalty of jail time if you fucking lie. No, he refers to testimony as what some person said on the street to some journalist, and that's testimony. That's like testifying for him. That's the honest truth, what somebody else said.
October 7th.
Hearsay.
The official story,
it's fucking hearsay,
which has been told to Americans and Israelis, is that Hamas quote-unquote terrorists stormed into southern Israel and began...
Dude, how the fuck are they not terrorists, you fucking idiot? Did you hear him say quote unquote? He's defending Hamas. He's literally running cover for a terrorist organization by saying that the people that went in with fucking guns and killed people that were living in homes, just minding their own business at the time, were somehow not terrorists. We could literally stop right here. And I wouldn't have to let you listen to another fucking word this liar says. Look, man, as much as I sympathize and support the Gazans and the people of Palestine, and I want them to have everything that every other human being has access to. And I don't want them to be harassed. I don't want them to be harassed in their movement or in their medicine or in their worship or anything. I want them to have freedom. As much as I love those people, and I want them to have all those things, I can at the same time call their government, just like I could call my government, corrupt and fucking terrorists. They're fucking terrorists. Is our government terrorists? Oh, you fucking goddamn right they are. You know, they put in an order for how many people they want fucking murdered. They send out how many weapons they want sent out to the battlefield to murder people. We're fucking terrorists too. You know, so for him to say quote unquote terrorists, he's saying that he doesn't consider them to be terrorists. He's saying, well, this is the word that they used. These people called them quote unquote terrorists. That in itself is everything you need to know about where he stands on all of this. I would never say that about these Hamas motherfuckers. I would never say that. I'll go march, all fucking say from the river to the sea, all that shit. But I would never deny the fact that Hamas is a terrorist organization and they committed a terrorist act on that day when they went in there and they've just slaughtered people. And they slaughtered people, man. And you know, there's video of it. If you've seen it, you know, there's these guys had GoPros on and they went with their fucking guns and they just mowed people down, dude. There's all kinds of shit on the internet. There's no doubt that those are acts of fucking terrorism. Now, granted, those Israelis probably shouldn't be on that land in the first place, and that's a problem, but that's not what you don't go over there and do that to deal with it. And what those guys did was a fucking act of terrorism. You know, and you know, I got news for you. What the Israelis are doing, moving into those homes, that's fucking terrorism too. You don't think the woman that got kicked out of her home, it's like, why are you stealing my home from me? You don't think she's terrorized? And where she's going to go, how she's going to survive? Everybody's a fucking terrorist. So, Max, you're a fucking liar. And I just proved it. And we don't have to say another word. We don't have to hear another word for this motherfucker.
And Israelis is that Hamas quote-unquote terrorists stormed into Hamas quote-unquote terrorists is that 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 Hamas quote-unquote terrorists Hamas quote-unquote terrorists Hamas quote-unquote terrorists is that Hamas quote-unquote terrorists is that Hamas quote-unquote terrorists Hamas quote-unquote terrorists Hamas quote-unquote terrorists Hamas quote-unquote terrorists
quote unquote quote unquote. It's so important that you all hear that, because that's my evidence that he's a fucking liar. Does anybody in here want to argue whether Hamas is terrorists or whether what they did was fucking terrorists? You know, anybody want to argue that in the chat? No matter what the reaction was, you'd have to be a terrorist to do what they fucking did, right? To whomever you're doing it to. Those are acts of terrorism. They're acts of political gain. They're acts of, you know, terrorism is violence for political gain. You guys realize, you guys know what the definition for terrorism is? Anybody? Here. The unlawful use of violence and intimidation, especially against civilians, in the pursuit of political aims. Hey, did I have the definition right there, guys? Did I get it right?
Yep.
That's terrorism. Their gain is they want their land back. That's their political gain. They want their fucking land back. You know, Hamas wants to take that land. So they went over there and they used, unlawfully, they used violence and intimidation against civilians. It's the textbook definition, word for word, of what they did, Max. Quote unquote. I mean, if you're saying quote unquote, what does that mean? You're quoting the fucking dictionary textbook definition of terrorism, Max? Because then that would make sense, actually, if you were. Which he wasn't, everybody. Just so you all know. You might be confused right now. That's not why he was saying quote unquote. Just so you all know. I can't believe we got 5 minutes and 51 seconds into this. I can't even get past this part. Cyber.
Yep. Oh, wow.
What did I tell everybody? Remember? What was my number, everybody? What was it?
37,600.
No.
400,
No.
200.
It was 37,200, and I promised you guys it was going to go there. I promised you guys. I said it's going to 37.2, and then Crypto Kid says it's going to 37.7. Who's making money right now? Who's making money right now? Let me know. Let me know if you're making money. $37.2. We went right past it. All right, we're going to try to get right past this part. Here we go. Let's try to get past this.
Formed into southern Israel and began just shooting and killing people at random, then burned them alive, tied up entire families in their homes, and then burned them all somehow, melted cars and burned people in their cars as they were trying to flee, and carried out this gigantic mass shooting. And it does appear clear that many non-combatants, Israeli non-combatants, were shot by Hamas gunmen, but that's kind of where the official story stops. And what I was able to determine from these testimonies, as well as just a...
He says it appears clear. Did you catch that? Are you believing the way he worded what Hamas did on that day? It appears clear that a good portion of Israelis were killed by Hamas terrorists on that day. And I want you to hear him say it again, because the way he says it is another piece of straw. And you don't realize it. It's like, this is a fact that this happened, and he's trying to make it sound like, maybe it didn't, who's to say? Listen to the way he says it.
In their cars as they were trying to flee, and carried out this gigantic mass shooting. And it does appear clear that many non-combatants, Israeli non-combatants, were shot by Hamas gunmen. But
it does appear clear.
And it does appear clear that many non-combatants, Israeli non-combatants,
and it does appear. And he uses that word appear, and you guys have to realize that is a weasel word. It's a complete weasel word. It's a word that he can weasel out of or weasel into. It appears
were shot.
He can get the allegiance of Jimmy Dore. He can win over all of his friends that subscribe to this narrative. And why? Why not just go with the truth, man?
By Hamas gunmen, but that's kind of where the official story stops. And what I was able to determine from these testimonies, as well as just a basic and visual analysis.
So he did a basic and visual analysis, everybody. Understand that. Everything that you are about to hear is his basic visual analysis of the facts that were presented to him, of all the evidence, right? Here we go. Remember, he's doing an investigation.
Of the photos that the Israeli foreign minister...
An investigation means he just did a visual analysis. He said he did an investigation. Now he says he did a visual analysis. What does that mean? That you watched TikTok videos, bro, and you put it all together?
Ministry and Prime Minister's office were putting forward was that Israel used disproportionate force on its own citizens in order to dislodge a politically driven military offensive.
Yeah, why are you using so many words, Max? What you're trying to say is Israel killed their own people. Just say it. Just say the words, bro. You're a fucking journalist? God.
By Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad, which was aimed at extracting political concessions from the state of Israel, which had been besieging the Gaza Strip for 15 years. So you read one of those testimonies, and I guess we can go into some detail about them and how I came to my conclusions.
Yeah, let's go in, because in your article, which people can read on the Gray Zone, you print pictures, and I mean, I'll let you go from there. And just the photographic evidence seems to
And you tell me this doesn't smack of Hawaii, the Hawaii fires, when you hear this.
contradict the statements that have come out of Jerusalem.
So it's important to understand that the main goal in this Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad military offensive was to gather as many captives as possible, particularly Israeli soldiers, in order to trigger the kind of prisoner exchange that was witnessed when Gilad Shalit in 2011 was released, the Israeli soldier who was taken in 2006, who was operating a tank outside Gaza, was taken in exchange for 1,027 Palestinian prisoners, including the current prime minister of Gaza, Yahya Sinwar. So this entire Al-Aqsa flood operation is understood through the against the backdrop of the Gilad Shalit prisoner exchange. So gunmen were sent with detailed maps to population centers and to military bases. In the military bases, they were obviously given instructions to attack and kill Israeli soldiers who were maintaining the siege of Gaza. Much of the Gaza division, which has also been responsible for so many massacres inside Gaza over the years, was wiped out. The the Erez crossing, that I don't know if you've been through there,
No,
Chris,
many
but
times, yes.
Okay, so yeah, because you've been to Gaza, I've been through there 3 times. It is the sort of the nexus, the nerve center of the siege of Gaza. It's not only where you cross through if you want to enter Gaza and return to, or if you're a resident of Gaza, you'll have to pass through there to get medical treatment outside. It's the home of the civil administration, the bureaucracy of the panopticon-style occupation of Gaza. So that was immediately overrun by gunmen as a military target. And with all these soldiers inside, the head of the Gaza division actually went into an underground bunker. He recounted this story to Haaretz and made the tough decision to bomb Erez crossing. And they sent Hellfire missiles onto the Erez crossing from Apache helicopters. And this was basically the beginning of the Iron Swords operation that Netanyahu declared several days later, which is essentially the carpet bombing of Gaza. But Apache helicopters were scrambled in the morning. The assault began around like 6 a.m. at daybreak. And by 10:30 a.m., according to Israeli media accounts, all of the special forces commando teams, the well-trained Hamas teams, had already left. By that point, there were 2 squadrons of Apache helicopters that had been scrambled, and they were not even at full strength until 12 p.m. So you have action at Erez crossing, then you have Kibbutz Be'eri, which is the site of some of the... It registered the most casualties of non-combatants. I counted something like 150 among the confirmed death toll printed at Haaretz. And most of them, they were not soldiers. These were people who were caught in crossfire. Hamas gunmen had tried to take them captive, and there were standoffs in their homes. And by the time Israeli special forces arrived, many of those standoffs had been either ended, or they ended them simply by shelling people's homes with tanks. According to Yasmin Porat, who had fled the electronic music festival, which had come under attack, which was held right between Kibbutz Be'eri and Kibbutz Re'im, which also have military bases essentially embedded within them.
Okay, so there's Israeli military bases inside these kibbutzes, and they took their tanks and shot their own military bases. They shelled with tanks their own military bases because they'd been overrun with Hamas soldiers.
It's held on the road between these 2 kibbutzim. and came under attack. Many captives were taken. This woman, Yasmin Porat, fled to Kibbutz Be'eri, went into a home with her partner, and then they were then taken captive momentarily by gunmen. And she recounted to Israeli national radio that when the Israeli special forces arrived, they just started shooting everyone, and that most of the captives were along with the Hamas gunmen.
Now, how the fuck was she alive? If the IDF went in there and slaughtered everybody, how did she walk out? Especially if she was a witness to it.
Were caught in the crossfire, and that everyone was killed except for her and her captor, who used her as a kind of human shield in order to guarantee his own safety when he surrendered. She saw her own partner, whose hands had been bound by her captors, get shot by Israeli special forces, and then they lobbed 2 tank shells into the home that she had been in. So if you look at the pictures of Kibbutz Be'eri, they look like homes in Gaza that I've seen, or you may have seen, that came under shelling from Israeli tanks and Israeli artillery. There's no way that Hamas gunmen could have done that much structural damage to this entire kibbutz with just the small arms that they were equipped with, Kalashnikovs and some RPGs. So, and I-24, Israeli Foreign Ministry sponsored propaganda network, actually went to this kibbutz on a guided tour and said they saw tank tracks everywhere. It's obvious what happened there. And
what you mean that
clearly
that their base has been overrun and they went in there with tanks and made sure everyone was cleared out of there? His assumption right there, because he saw tank tracks, doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean tanks went in there and destroyed shit. If tanks were there, okay, yeah, I would probably bring a tank through there too if it had just been overrun with Hamas and I had a military base in the middle of it. Right? Wouldn't you bring a tank in there to check it out? And if it had been completely overrun and you thought that there were nobody else, there were no more hostages in there, yeah, why not go fucking blow that shit apart if it's overrun with terrorists? I mean, for you to assume that the IDF went in there and just tried to murder Israelis, as many Israelis as they, and that's basically the assumption. That's what he's trying to say Israel did. And Chris Hedges,
security coordinator.
That's why they talk about that
law,
that thing they passed back in 1986
with the Israeli military command, and they
the Hannibal
to shell houses on top of their occupants, including Israeli civilians. Now, why were they doing this? As you mentioned, there's the Hannibal Directive, this secret directive.
Here it is.
Once secret directive that was introduced after Israel entered into a major prisoner swap with, I believe, the PFLP-GC, which operates out of Syria, in exchange for Ahmed Jibril and hundreds of other prisoners, in order to get back some Israeli soldiers who I think had been taken in the Lebanese Civil War.
I think it was only 3. I don't think it was very.
Yeah, it was 3.
Yeah.
And so this is a politically painful prisoner swap, and the Israeli public was furious, and the right-wing politicians were furious. So they introduced this directive named for the Carthaginian general, Hannibal, who took his own life. He took poison rather than be taken captive by the enemy. And it authorizes Israeli commanders to kill their own soldiers if they're taken captive by the enemy in order to prevent such a prisoner swap from taking place. And it was used again, this is kind of when it got exposed in 2014, August 1st, 2014, what's known as Black Friday in southern Gaza. And I was actually there in the aftermath of this massacre. A lieutenant named Hadar Golden was taken by Hamas fighters. He was in the field. Israel broke a ceasefire and started attacking around the southern city of Rafah. And the Israeli military command authorized airstrikes, artillery strikes, tank fire to bring the full wrath of the Israeli military onto this area in order to make sure that this soldier did not get taken alive. And over 100 people in Rafah were killed in this massacre. The morgues were filling up. It was hideous. I actually visited a hospital called Kuwaiti Hospital, which is now under attack again. And because the mortuaries were so full of bodies on this day, they actually had to bring in ice cream coolers to store the bodies of babies. The doctor actually who I interviewed about that, his entire family was killed about a week and a half ago after he refused Israeli orders to evacuate Kuwaiti Hospital. But back to the Hannibal directive, we have to question whether it was put into play on October 7th, because we not only have the Erez crossing, where many soldiers were killed, and if you look at the aftermath, the roof was clearly brought down. There's serious structural damage to the roof of Erez crossing. You have Kibbutz Be'eri, where there was tank shelling, and then you have these Apache helicopter pilots in the air who were stating in their testimonies in Hebrew to Israeli media that they had no intelligence, no way of distinguishing civilian from combatant on the ground, and yet they were told to empty their tanks, just completely unload their ammo, then head back to the base, get filled up again, reload, and then go shoot as many cars and people as they can on the ground. Pure chaos. These testimonies have been totally ignored, by the way, by Western media. Were they encouraged to kill captives or shoot cars that they thought contained captives? We don't know.
Were the testimonies fucking people just lying so they could get on TV or have their voice on the radio or whatever the fuck?
We do know is there were orders from the top.
Oh, you hear that? You hear that? What he just said. What we do know,
From the top.
we know. Now, he went from a visual, what did he say? It was a visual, not investigation. He said he was doing an investigation. He said it did a visual thing, blah, blah, blah. But now he knows that there's orders from the top. And he's like, we do know. Listen to this. This is just, it's delicious.
10 captives. We don't know. What we do know is there were orders from the top to kill Israeli civilians if Hamas gunmen were around them in order to get the gunmen.
So they're like, yes, if you see Israelis near them, just kill everybody. That's the orders from the top. And these testimonies say, that's what they were telling them. I have a feeling if this were to be true, I think you'd be hearing from more than, one person.
And it's like the same doctrine, military doctrine that's being employed in Gaza. Any civilian is a target if they are the quote-unquote terrorist's next-door neighbor. Israel actually calls it the neighbor policy. They don't know any other doctrine. They don't have any other means of targeting. So it's just, and they weren't prepared, obviously, for this military onslaught. So they just went to their core doctrine of bombing everything in sight. And so that brings us to the third scenario. Erez crossing, Kibbutz Be'eri. Then you have the chaos of the Nova Electronic Music Festival. And it's there that it appears clear that after a lot of these Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad commando teams had left, this is an element that's left out in a lot of Western media. Many people from Gaza just started streaming in, including like lower level characters from the armed factions who may have had weapons but weren't part of the operation, weren't trained. Onlookers, people who just wanted to see what Israel looked like, to see the land that their families had been kicked off. And there were some heinous killings, and you could see actual captives being taken by guys on motorcycles who didn't even have weapons. They're just grabbing people. A lot of this happened around the Nova Music Festival. There was a lot of shooting between festival security guards and various gunmen, and a lot of people were killed. But many people were fleeing the festival by car. There's video of some Hamas gunmen stopping cars and shooting people, but then you have all of these images that the Israeli Foreign Ministry put out of cars that are completely melted and their corpses inside are charred. And those, to me, are telltale signs of Hellfire missile strikes from Apache helicopters. And the Apache crews, the squadrons, they put out video afterwards of themselves shooting cars, hitting cars with Hellfire missiles, and shooting people who were just pedestrians walking on the ground with cannon fire. We don't know who those people were, but if you look at a lot of the cars were heading back to Gaza, so they were very likely cars of people from Gaza who may have been taken captives, and so many captives or would-be captives were killed. Was one of them Shani Luke, this woman who the Israeli Foreign Ministry has been making such a big deal of, who was a festival party goer, who was attractive, and I think she was like a German citizen. There's some video of her being taken. They say they found a skull fragment from her. Was she in a car that was hit by a Hellfire
Jesus
missile?
Christ.
Unclear, but it's very clear that many of these cars were hit by Apache helicopters, and the helicopter pilots said they had no idea who was in them. They were shooting people also on the other side in Gaza after they entered.
Bro, when I'm in an Apache helicopter and I see terrorists driving away, I'm totally blowing them up with my Apache. I'm not even gonna fucking hesitate. We're at war. They just came over and killed 1,000 people. I'm gonna chase them down with my Apache. I figure, whoever the fuck's in those goddamn cars, and I'm gonna take my fucking missiles and my machine guns and I'm gonna blow them to shit. I wouldn't even fucking think about it. I don't understand what the problem is here. Dude, they were at fucking war on that day. What were they supposed to do? Not shoot at the cars that were racing away from the war zone?
By the afternoon of October 7th. It's very clear to me that many people were killed. Many Israelis were killed by Israeli forces, along with many active duty uniformed Israeli.
That is a hell of a bullshit statement right there. I'm sure there was some fucking collateral going on that day. I'm certain of it. But for him to make a statement like this, and, it just goes to show how hyperbolic and childish he is. He's like a little kid that's just making shit up out of his ass. And just like making it. And then I saw a big monster. And there were 2 dragons. And I've got a bulletproof vest. And your bullets don't hurt me. I've got a bulletproof vest.
Were killed. Many Israelis were killed by Israeli forces, along with afternoon of October 7th. It's very clear to me that many people were killed. Many Israelis were killed by Israeli forces. That many people were killed. Many Israelis were killed by Israeli forces after they entered. By the afternoon of October 7th. It's very clear to me that many people were killed. Many Israelis were killed by Israeli forces.
Oh my God, man. Many people, man. They went in there and just fucking slaughtered motherfuckers.
Along with many active duty uniformed Israeli soldiers who were actively engaged in the siege of Gaza, who were combatants.
I just want to buttress that.
He's going to buttress it.
Kuwait after the first Gulf War.
Yeah, he's going to buttress it with something from fucking 30 years ago.
Miles and miles of Iraqi military vehicles.
That's not buttressing, dude.
Apache helicopters, and when I saw one of the images of a car with 2 completely blackened corpses, that is what I saw in vehicle after vehicle after vehicle going into Kuwait. Some of these images, which were disseminated by the IDF, have been removed, and maybe you can explain why you think they were no longer made available to the public.
Well, when I first went to Gaza in 2014 in the midst of Israel's 51-day-long assault on Gaza, I came across a car that was just on the roadside that had been roasted by Hellfire.
Look, guys, I am sure that they fucking used Apache helicopters with fucking missiles and they fucking had machine guns on them and they destroyed some fucking cars with those helicopters. I'm sure that's what happens, whenever you're fucking at war. Terrorists use cars, bro. They use trucks, they use cars, they look just like civilians, but they carry guns and shit. And if you're in a helicopter and you're flying over and you got a machine gun and shit, I have a feeling you're going to be able to see whether those people look like combatants or whether they're civilians. And I have a feeling that, having families and children and moms and dads and all that shit, a fucking gunner or a pilot is going to have that pause to be able to judge, whether or not they think they should fucking blow people to parts with these fucking machine guns they got. I mean, you forget there's a human being in there, bro. And they're professionals, man. These guys are out there looking for terrorists, man. I know what that's like. Well, we play video games where we fucking have to judge what the fuck we're shooting at and shit. And, very often, Cyber, if I'm running in a video game with him, he'll look just like somebody from the other team, and I'll stop myself before I shoot them in a fucking video game. So do you think that, an actual soldier in a fucking helicopter or someone who's trained to do that is going to have the ability to try to discern the difference between a freaking civilian and freaking terrorists that just abducted people? And hey, man, if there were people killed in those cars, I'm sure there's plenty of evidence of it. I'm sure there's plenty of evidence if there were Israelis killed by Israeli soldiers, and one person claiming it doesn't make it so. And I'm certain that there would be some sort of evidence, and that families would want evidence, and they would send out unbiased fucking teams to go out there and research it for them to find out if their family was killed by the IDF on that day.
Along with its driver, the driver's body had been removed.
If it was my family, I wouldn't accept the government narrative. I'd be looking into that shit.
Gas pedal. And he had been hit by a Hellfire missile. I put the picture, I embedded the picture in my...
Yes, okay, great. So you know what a Hellfire missile does to a car, and they Hellfire missile the car. You don't know who was in the car, do you? You don't know if it was a fucking bunch of terrorists in the fucking car. I mean, let me ask you this. Every terrorist that participated on that day, did they all get slaughtered? Every single one of them? Or did they get away? And how'd they get away? And they flew in there, they fucking rode in there, they drove in there. Do you think maybe they rode and drove the fuck out of there too? How many of them do you think did? And do you think every single one of them got slaughtered? I have a feeling that there was a mass migration of terrorists out of Israel on that day. After they did what they did.
Taken a fighter, a Hamas fighter, a wounded fighter to the hospital without even knowing that he had been a fighter, and so they killed him. So the Israeli Foreign Ministry has a website called, I think, Hamas-massacre.com. And the UN ambassador, this unhinged character named Gilad Erdan, who used to be in charge of Israel's meddling operations to attack college students who were organizing to boycott, divest, and sanction Israel, or forming Palestine Solidarity student groups. Gilad Erdan whipped out this QR code at his UN address, I think about 2 weeks ago. And the QR code was supposed to lead to a Google Drive folder that contained all these images of, charred cars, melted bodies, and all sorts of other atrocities that Hamas had committed. But all the pictures eventually disappeared. My initial read was that they concluded that a lot of these pictures were either fake, or they could have even depicted Hamas fighters who had come in and been hit by Hellfire missiles. But then Gilad Erdan, in embarrassment, later said that there was a technical error, and he tried to repost the images. And that makes sense, because they have no shame. They lie relentlessly, shamelessly, and so it didn't seem like they actually deleted them out of shame. They deleted them because of a major technical error, which is also ironic, because Israel's supposed to be the technically savvy startup nation that's teaching the world through innovation and creativity how we can enter the AI future, but they can't even maintain a simple Google Drive. That just shows like the boneheadedness of this entire operation. But it's
really?
It's been very successful.
One guy makes one mistake on a goddamn doing something, uploading something to the internet, and Max says that proves that the whole operation, everything and everybody that's included in all the technology and all the fucking money and all the training and all the fucking time and everything that they put into this, it's all negated from this one guy that couldn't get a file fucking uploaded onto a server. Really, Max? You're a fucking idiot. This isn't reporting, man. It's just straw manning. This is another piece of straw. It means absolutely nothing.
In convincing Brussels
Hey,
and
Caleb.
Washington that Hamas was ISIS. That is Israel's message. Hamas is ISIS. They're irrational. They aim to simply kill Jews. They don't have any political demands. And the only response to them is the response that the U.S. is the response that the U.S. waged on ISIS after supporting ISIS, by the way, in Syria, which was to destroy much of Raqqa, ISIS's base of operation, as well as Mosul in Iraq. And the man who actually oversaw those operations, James Glynn, the Marine officer, was sent to Israel to consult the Israeli military in the immediate aftermath of October 7th on how they should respond. Now the Pentagon's sort of pulling back and saying, whoa, this is a little bit crazy for us even. We don't even know where what you're targeting, where your targeting is coming from. But they gave him the green light because they fell for the propaganda shock and awe campaign of these photos. And recently, actually, at a fundraiser for the Republican Jewish Coalition, which is funded substantially by the Adelson family of the late Likudnik oligarch Sheldon Adelson, but also many other wealthy Republican pro-Israel Jews in Las Vegas, at Adelson's hotel. A character named Eli Beer appears on stage, who is a volunteer rescuer and a religious nationalist Orthodox Jew, I think from New York, who is living in Israel and had arrived as a first responder in October 7th through a group called United Hatzalah. And this is obviously kind of like a fundraising speech. And he declares that a baby had been burned in an oven, had been baked in an oven by Hamas, quote-unquote, terrorists. And
Quote
I'm
unquote.
looking at his comments right now.
Why does he say that every time
He
he...
really likes that term, huh?
He actually had not seen any baby in an oven. It was someone named Eli Moskowitz, who is from his first responder United Hatzalah team. And Eli Moskowitz had not seen any baby baked in an oven. He said that he found a small bag with contents of body parts that had been apparently pressed against a heating element. And these body parts were displayed by Netanyahu and filtered out on Twitter and sent to influencers by the Israeli Foreign Ministry and the PM's office after Netanyahu was embarrassed by the retraction of the story about 40 beheaded babies. So if we go back to like October 8th, CNN and Biden begin telling this phony story about 40 beheaded babies. They are both forced to retract. Netanyahu puts out an image of some burned body parts, says it's a baby, and then flash forward to this fundraiser in Las Vegas where these first responders are saying that there was a baby baked in an oven based on body parts they had in a bag, which were pressed.
And none of this has
heating
anything to do with Israel killing
put two and two
civilians
together.
on the 6th.
What kind of heating element could have created that much heat to char a body part, which didn't even belong to a baby, but was put forward by Netanyahu to save face? It was likely a Hellfire missile, and body parts that had been blown to bits by a Hellfire missile, which were likely an Israeli citizen, but could have been someone from Gaza, are being put forward as an Israeli baby. But there's only, if you look at the confirmed death count, only one Israeli baby was killed. And it's, horrible and tragic.
Yeah, but I thought Israel shelled the fucking kibbutzes, bro. I thought Israel was slaughtering Israelis, man. I thought the IDF was going in there and slaughtering them. They only got one baby? Really, huh?
10-month-old baby named Millie Cohen, who was accidentally shot by a Hamas gunman in an exchange of fire. And more reporting will come out about this. But you can look at the confirmed death toll at Haaretz. There's no other baby. There's no baby burned in an oven. No one's even saying that. So what we're looking at is the most horrific, lurid propaganda, which is bogus, all derives from apparent friendly fire and is being spun in order to justify the actual beheading of babies with missiles in the Gaza Strip and the extermination, the systematic extermination of an entire society. I mean, a senior security source, Israeli security source, told Yediot Aharonot, the top Israeli tabloid, that 20,000 people had been killed in Gaza. I personally think that could be an overcount, and they're just trying to boast to the Israeli public about how many people they've killed to satisfy the bloodlust of the public after October 7th. But if that's true, that's like 1% of the entire population, which is definitely qualifies as genocide. So this propaganda has been used to justify the realization of the lie. Many Israelis who are involved in this military operation or who are seen torturing people in the West Bank, workers in the West Bank on camera, they're reenacting the lurid propaganda that they believe to be true about October 7th. And it could lead to regional war because the genocidal fury has so overwhelmed Israeli society and Brussels and Washington. The propaganda, the shock and awe campaign has prevented Brussels and Washington from being able to put any check on it.
What do you think this means for the hostages that are in Gaza?
That's a great question, and I think one of the hostages answered it. I don't know her name. She appears to be from one of the kibbutzim that had the most captives taken. It's called Nir Oz, and that's where the two of the elderly captives who were released came from. And it's a kibbutz that has many people from the left of the Israeli political spectrum who would be critics of Netanyahu come from. So he may not be, Netanyahu, his government, and the Israeli population may not be very favorably disposed to them. One of these hostages, an older woman, appeared on camera from wherever she was being held inside Gaza and excoriated Netanyahu and said, "You have no desire to get us. What are you doing? Have a ceasefire and negotiate for our release and get us out here. You've already killed 50 of us." And that is correct. At least 50 captives have already been killed in these blitzkrieg-like Israeli bombings where they're using...
Where the hell are they getting their information from? I'm not getting anything out of the IDF. You guys getting body counts from the IDF? How many hostages have been killed? I heard 2 or 4, was it? 2 hostages were killed? Huh. That's a hell of a claim, Max.
2,000-pound bombs and like GBU 82 bunker buster bombs. Sorry, Mark 82 bunker buster bombs. So I don't think they'll make it out alive. It would be a miracle if they made it out alive. I think everyone wants them to make it out alive, whether they are on the anti-Zionist side or, well, I shouldn't say everyone wants to make it out alive. It appears that those who want them to make it out are those who are protesting Netanyahu outside his office and outside the military headquarters, who tend to be leftists or anti-Zionists in Israel. And those who could care less about them getting out are Netanyahu's supporters and the military supporters and the military commanders themselves. Because what about this operation suggests that they're actually trying to rescue hostages? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And the political dynamics that have been put in play by assaulting everyone in the Gaza Strip, assaulting everyone, are sending the message that no negotiations are possible whatsoever. I think Netanyahu could fall at any day as this operation goes on if certain things take place. For example, if the soldiers that the Israeli military has sent into the few kind of unpopulated areas in northern Gaza where they've set up these de facto bases of Merkava tanks, if they actually get out of their tanks and wade into the rubble or try to actually take out tunnels themselves, they're going to lose many, many lives. And Netanyahu
Kepper says, want to smoke?
But he would also fall if he negotiates
one
the
pack.
release
Give me 1 second.
of these captives. Why? Because of the propaganda that he put into play.
Oh, shit.
The propaganda was so extreme and so lurid, and they went so far beyond an already horrific reality on October 7th, that the Israeli public has been whipped into such a fervor that they would not stand for any negotiation with Hamas. So the only objective that can be put forward, which has been reinforced by Tony Blinken, is regime change in Gaza.
Cheers,
Regime
Cyber.
change
Cheers,
in Gaza
Kepper,
is
Karen,
months
Crispy
and
Token,
months
Tony
of
Z,
grinding, genocidal
Lordy
war
Nordy, Hippie Chick,
in which
Caleb
no captive can
Sliger,
possibly
Steve
survive.
Running, Ivan.
Isn't it straightforward? They took the
Not you,
captives
Ivan.
because they wanted an
Cheers,
exchange,
guys.
a prisoner exchange.
Cheers, bro.
Netanyahu could
Cheers,
empty
everybody.
the Israeli prisons of 4, 5, 6, I don't know, 10,000 Palestinian prisoners, and they would get the hostages would go home, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean, this isn't about Hamas per se. Hamas does have the political mandate to carry out an armed struggle. That's why it was elected in 2006, including by people who were not necessarily Islamist outside of its base. They actually won cities across the West Bank. It wasn't that they won Gaza. They won all of Palestine that was able to vote. So their mandate is to do armed struggle to resist, where the Fatah and the Palestinian Authority basically gave up. And they're going to continue doing that. But Palestinian armed struggle has always been driven by political demands that were essentially rational and were related to ending ethnic cleansing and ending the military occupation of Palestinians. The leadership of Hamas put forward clear political demands at the beginning of Al-Aqsa flood, as they did in 2014 during Operation Cast Lead, and they relate to preventing the incursions of fanatical religious nationalists to the Al-Aqsa compound, the third holiest site in Islam. They relate to ending the siege of Gaza so that they can actually they can enjoy some sovereignty, they can actually fish in their own seas, they can have an economy, they can visit Jerusalem. Emptying the Israeli prisons, where something like 1,500 Palestinians are now held without charges. 700 Palestinian children pass in and out of these prisons every year. There are currently at least 150. Now there's probably 200 Palestinian children being held in these jails. They're hostages. They've been kidnapped. I've gone to their trials in the Israeli children's courts, and they're kidnapped in their own beds. Ahed Tamimi was just kidnapped. She, I've known her since she was a child, and her village, Nabi Saleh, has been waging this unarmed struggle against the Israeli occupation in the West Bank. Her dad was kidnapped, Bassem, who's really the leader of that struggle and is an international hero. And so it relates to the whole occupation. And the only way that they could trigger some kind of negotiation, they believe, was by taking captives, because all diplomatic channels had been cut off. The entire West had declared Hamas a terrorist organization that could not be negotiated with. So the only way to spur negotiations is through violence. And that's what they did. And what they've done is force the essential dynamics of Zionism into an accelerated mode. Because Zionism, as a settler colonial movement based on an anachronistic ideology, Herrenvolk ideology from like turn of the century Europe, has demonstrated its unwillingness to accommodate with the native population as it seeks to consolidate its settler colonial presence. And so it must move towards genocide, as all other settler colonial movements have done. And so that's where we're at right now, is the phase of whether Israel will be able to finish the job that it began in 1948 or not. And I think we're any negotiations that could have taken place.
Yo, Cyber.
Yeah, bro.
You ready, bro?
Oh, nice.
You ready for the journey?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Hold on, everybody. Pause the video. I meant to turn it around, and I hit stop on the video. Here we go. sorry that I screwed up that video. We're on the other side now. And this is another rapid. This is real rapids right here. This is the real rapids. I'll test and see if I can float up over it. I mean, you can hear them at least. No, it's too. My raft has lost some of its buoyancy. It's lost some of its buoyancy. I'm a goddamn daredevil. I'm a daredevil. Home, folks. I'm a daredevil, Cyber. So, I'm a daredevil. So funny. Leaning back, let's see if it pushes me over. Oh my goodness. It would have been fun, but it's not enough. It's not enough. I can't. I've got to redesign this part. So I can do that. I'll move some of these rocks. It'll be fine. So I'm stuck. I got to get out. All right. Sorry I cut off the video. And I hope you guys had fun. That was fun for me. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah, bro. I did like... Hey, everybody. I'm trying I did 29 minutes up to that. River raft. I accidentally cut it off when I got to the pipe. I've got my GoPro right here. And I guess I'll turn it on, right? Hit record. I think we're recording now. I don't know what just happened. I want to hit record, man. And there it goes. Cool. So we're now recording on the GoPro. And it's not really a GoPro per se, but anyway, we're gonna just forget that little detail, that messy little detail. Here, let me turn this water spigot off right here. You guys are getting all the angles. Now here, the problem is I've got my dog right here. I just realized that my dog is outside, and I have to put a leash on him. Dude, light, man, let there be light. Man, yeah. So he doesn't go running off. One of my handy little lights there to light up my face. Let me just do that really fast. Come here, Beazle. Good boy. And we can just go like this with it. And he'll be able to get out of the sun if he has to. And he won't run off anywhere like this. So we're good. Cool. All right. Unless he tries to go the other way, but I think he'll be all right. But we can always check up on him. We'll be fine. All right, man. Here we go. That was exciting. We've got our raft here. I think I'm recording. Let me make sure. The screen went off on me. The GoPro. Okay, it's still recording. Okay, so I guess the screen goes off on it. After a while, I have to check that little setting. All right, man, let's go down here to the water here. I'm going to turn this camera around, and we're going to go down this beautiful area here and see how well we can get set up for our journey. We've got a journey. So the water might be an inch higher today than it was yesterday. Not sure. I'm not completely sure. I'm just trying something here, something a little different. Trying to get you a good angle here. I got to get the star-spangled angle. I got to get you the star-spangled angle. That's the best angle. That's the finest angle of all angles. All right, there we go. Oh, we made it over that. That's a dangerous little spot right there. Ooh. Okay, now I'm assuming the GoPro's staying on. We're gonna see. Here's our beautiful little. We've got this beautiful little waterfall right here. It's so cool, right there. Isn't that awesome? Yeah. Yeah. Let's kill her. Okay. Let's keep going up here. There seems to be something in the water up ahead. In the waters up ahead. I'm trying to keep the camera straight. Sorry, it's 2 cameras holding 2 cameras. But this is nice and deep right here, so we should flow through here, man. Okay, as of right now, I don't see any snapping turtles, so that's good. And this is nice and deep, so this is where we're going to start our journey, man. This is where we got caught up yesterday. We kind of like, you know,
Well, it's a culvert. They're concrete. It's a concrete culvert, but there's plenty of water, bro. It's like, it was nice. You're on a raft,
I'd like to go.
and it went right through.
It's more fun if I go backwards.
There's nothing to
laying
it.
on my back, it's more fun.
See, my problem is I shouldn't have started here.
But
This was way too shallow.
Pro right there. That's might not work. Yeah, you know what? That's kind of burly. I'm gonna Okay, man. It's not gonna stay in the stand. It's not gonna. If I put the GoPro in like this, it's just too crazy, lazy, crazy. Here, let me see if there's another option. Okay, I think we got it. I think that's gonna. Ooh, maybe not. Maybe not, because we're gonna be on this thing, rocking it around. So that's. There's really, I don't see any way to make this work. So this is a fail right here, man. This is a failure. Okay, I'm going to pause this video and I'm going to work with this. I'll be right back. Okay, so the GoPro's not going to work for now. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to sit down on this raft. All right, it's cold water. Get my legs up on it. I'm just gonna sit here. Now I'm leaning way back on there. I'm trying something different today. I got way back on the raft. And I'm gonna put my weight back for better weight distribution and see if we can flow Tilla. But yeah, I'm gonna leave the GoPro right there on the bank and turn it off because, well, the battery's running low on it. I noticed. I gotta charge it longer. And I didn't have a way to fasten it to this raft to really make it work. So it just wasn't gonna work right, man. Ooh, that's cold. I put my head in the water. But I started moving. Here we go, one-handed. Cottonmouth Central over here, man.
42 degrees, Lordy Nordy. Where are you at?
Just thinking about that.
My face looks funny when I'm back like
Oh, I
that.
caught a wind. Here we go. For 5 seconds.
Look at me rolling right there.
Bottoming out a little bit.
Shit, I was rolling for like a
To
second.
redistribute my weight. Maybe I should go further down. There might just be a little trick to this because I just don't have the depth of water that's required. be coming. It moved and then it stopped. I'm cheating with my leg in the water. Make it go. Make it go. I'm trying to lean back to make this thing sit up on
That
the
water looks so nice, though.
It does.
Clear water just flowing.
We're not going anywhere, but it's fun. It's floating around. I think I'm just too heavy, man. I need to lose weight. I think if I maybe go, I think I might just be to the part where it gets deep enough.
Look how serious
I'm
I am.
saying with my hand.
I look like a baby trying to poop.
Let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready for the toboggan ride.
I'm ready for the toboggan.
Switching hands here.
You're in Wisconsin.
Oh, there we caught
Northeastish. Hell yeah.
Hey, we caught a wave. There we go.
Failure 1 and
guys.
failure 2. Yeah, this is failure 3. There I go. There I go.
So cool.
There I go. See, it's times like that make it worth it.
Oh my god. You guys, I love this so much.
I should have laid back more.
Oh, bottom half. Keep to the right. Keep to the right here. I need little marker flags up so I know which side is the deepest side. Try to get this thing going. I'm just gonna let it naturally spin on me here. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna switch hands again. I gotta fan the sand with my hand. Fan the sand with my hand.
Fan the sand with my hand. You know, it's funny how good that comes through off the screen off my smartphone to a low quality camera. It actually looks really good. I mean, you can see the sunlight beams coming down and shit.
I'm ready. Dude, this is so close to being freaking awesome. I'm just gotta work on these areas. There we go. I just gotta work on those areas that are a little high areas. Knock them down a little bit. And then the whole thing's gonna flow, because once you're moving, you know. Here, I'm turning sideways again. Dude, it's like the Haunted Mansion ride where you turn backwards.
Hit that stick.
Dude, I don't want to pop my boat. Don't pop the boat, baby. Don't pop the boat. Don't pop the boat.
I may have actually popped it when I did that.
Don't pop the boat, man. It's my fail boat. Okay, we're on the move again.
That was a lie.
That was a lie. But I can feel the water rushing by underneath. I'm fanning the same with my hand. I'm fanning the same with my hand.
Do I think bears drink from the water? Dude, everything drinks from that water. Are you kidding me? It's a fucking spring. Yeah, it's constantly flowing all the time. From
This
two
might just be
two different
shallow of an
springs.
area right here.
Two totally different springs feed that creek.
We're at the little waterfall.
The waterfall's drainage. That's not a spring. But you can see that little waterfall right there. The camera's got it reversed. It's actually,
I know,
I'm
this is
flowing the other way
the worst video
in
I've
relation to
ever
where
done
that
in my
waterfall
entire
is.
life. It's just so boring. But I will make this work. This will That seems okay. We're just not moving. That's the problem, see.
The problem is I'm not going
anywhere on Nay's Wild Ride.
Nay's Wild Ride. It's Nay's Wild Ride, bro.
Wild Ride.
Oh my God.
It's not wild enough because it's not moving. I'm trying so hard, man. I'm fanning the sand with my hand. I'm fanning the sand with my hand. Okay, we're floating again. We're up. There we go. Holy moly. Okay, so this might just, maybe I just should start from right here. But actually what I really need to do is just clear that area. Okay, and now.
David's drinking coffee and watching it.
But there's a lot of rocks right here and shit. So here. There we go. Right on through. There we go. There we go. There we go. Super deep area. Now we're moving. We are moving. We're going down the road now, man. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Now we're flying. Wait. Nope. When this happens, you would think that the sand would clear underneath. I can feel where I'm caught up down there.
See, what's funny is that is my yard right there where you see that chair. That's my yard. But in reality, we'd be flowing the other way.
I'm ready, willing, and able.
It's weird. It's really weird the way it seems in this. This is a reverse angle.
I'm sad. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's mirrored.
Yeah.
Let's get to the fun part.
But it's not mirrored when I flip the camera around.
I mean, fanning the sand with my hand has never really worked. I don't know why I do it. It's like I think I'm going to be able to clear out underneath and make it deep enough.
You think you know neighbors of my neighbors?
Alright, we're going to have to cheat on down here. We're going to have to cheat on down. This is not working. This is not working. How about here? Okay, we're back up. We're running. We're floating. We're moving. Barely, though. We're barely moving. There's a big, deep part coming up. I'm getting tired. This is not relaxing and lazy. This is a chore, and it's a lot of hard work. And it's sucky. Right, it's pretty sucky. Ow.
At least I made it to that tunnel, though. The tunnel was fun as hell. And the thing about that tunnel is you can do it over and over and over again, you know?
See, I'm thinking, at some point here, we're going to get to a part where we're just going to roll, man. You know? Forget I gotta lay my head back. Oh, it's turning around on me. And we're rolling again. Backwards. And now it's trying to go back the other way. And now I'm a human dam. Dude, I want to get to the tunnel part.
I want to get to the tunnel part.
I don't know if it's going to work. I don't think my butt's going to clear it. I'll switch hands again.
My hand was getting tired from holding the camera. It's so obnoxious.
And we're floating. And we're not floating. We're hitting sandbars. I want someone to just pull me. Just hang a rope on here and just walk in front of me and just pull me down. That'll work.
That see-through window behind me is pretty cool.
This is the biggest fail video I've ever made in my entire... It's such a fail. What a failure.
Oh, yes, yes.
I'm so close to the deep part, though, so I'm just gonna get up here. Here we go. Here we go. This is deep right here. Deep water. Deep, deep water here. We're not moving.
We're not moving.
We're not moving. Dude, I thought the water would, like, go between the raft and the bottom and, like, wash away the sand and make it, like, deeper. That's totally not doing that.
You're scared I'm going to run into a
A lot of
gator?
work to do on my lazy river,
No.
obviously.
There's no alligators down there.
You know those small little fans you can get? You can blow yourself and all
I
that?
believe in
Yeah.
the power of
You
flotation.
want some batteries? You
and
take
buoyancy.
one of
I
those and
believe
duct
in the
tape it
power
to the bottom of the raft. And have a little
non-gravitational pull.
engine.
I believe in the power of buoyancy and flotation. That ain't working. Come on now. Come on now. So close. So close to being really cool. This is so close. This is so close to being really cool, man. This is so close to being like super duper cool. Here we go. Here's the deep part finally. Here we go. I'm trying to steer it. I'm trying to steer it. Pretty sure I'm not hitting the bottom. Just kind of sitting here,
Yeah, I was in a,
floating.
it was in
There's
a
not a lot of
reverse,
current through
a
this
reverse current right
But
there.
it's relaxing and peaceful and pretty. Here's my banana trees. There they are, right in front of me. I got these over here too.
Now this is in normal view.
Pretty cool view.
So my
that you
house
never
is
get
on
to
the
see.
right.
Ugh. Come on,
When
man.
you go down the creek, my house is on the right.
Let's get moving. Let's get moving. Let's get moving on the lazy river ride. Here we go.
Wekiva Springs. Yeah, I know where Wekiva Springs is. It's like it's probably like, I'm gonna guess and say like 7 or 8 miles from where I live. Wekiva Springs.
Yeah, I just realized there's a whole bunch of water. There's a whole bunch of water on this thing, and I bet if I dump it, I'll take a lot of weight off it. Here, hold on. Oh yeah, and I have lost some air. I can feel that. Let me see if that helps. It's just less weight on here. Come on, lazy river. You're not lazy a river or nothing.
Come on, lazy river.
It's a drainage ditch.
You're just a drainage
You
ditch.
can't boat down it. It's just a... Now I'm going to have to try it the other way. Head first. It's probably going to work way better without the camera. That's in your holding this camera. You know?
If I can float down it, it's officially a waterway.
Pretty sure I'm losing air. My ear's running out.
I know that's what I said. I should have had a paddle. But I've only got one hand when I'm filming. Bro, if I had both hands in there, I'd do fine. Doing this with one hand is impossible when it's like this. I mean, I could make it better. Okay, that's weird.
I'm doing the inchworm to see if it clears the sand.
That's weird. My camera's freaking out.
Nah, that was weird.
I bet that would work, actually. Holy shit. I think that works. I could just do that down the whole river. There we go. We're freed up. Now we're going through the Raging Rapids. This is the Raging Rapids part.
This part's pretty cool.
Nice.
Right
Nice. Nice.
and now it got
dude. And then you
propelled
haul ass to
forward.
this part.
It like pushed me forward going down
That's
that.
cool.
And then, boom, spun around.
Uh-oh, rocks. We hit some rocks. It's the second Raging Rapids part.
What camera is that? That's not your Galaxy?
No, the camera's not doing that. It's my webcam.
Okay, okay.
Wow.
Yeah. And that is the Galaxy S23. Yeah.
All up there.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
right.
yeah, I understand it's a webcam, yeah, but that shouldn't fucking happen on the Galaxy.
Excellent.
No, it's not.
I'm flotilla in.
It's a piece of shit Logitech. I've had it forever.
Yeah.
I'm on the flotilla.
I'm on the flotilla, I said.
I'm ruddering.
Look at me moving, bro.
Yeah.
We're coming
That's-
up on the dangerous part.
That's the cool part.
Be
You get to
prepared,
actually
folks.
slow it down like you're on a boat.
Okay, here comes some raging rocks.
Right next to my driveway.
Steer to
It's
the-
so funny.
Left here.
Those hoses right there are
Yeah,
coming
to
off
the
my
right,
roof.
I mean, and then to the left.
The drainage off the roof of my house for the rain.
Yeah.
Go. Now we're moving, baby. Now we're moving. Oh my goodness gracious. I could bring an oar out here and really haul ass. This is great. We're getting close to the falls. You hear them up ahead? There's some falls up ahead, folks. Now we're coming up to the pipe, and we're going to go under this pipe, and it's pretty cool. And then we go through the tunnel. So this will be pretty crazy.
Dude, this camera sucks dick. What the
I'm
fuck?
ruddering with my hand.
You know, why should you
helping
start
steer
doing
a little
that?
bit.
Webcam, piece of shit.
And I push off the side, too, with my hand to kind of spin it.
I think it's because the webcam has
Yeah,
a
man.
different running a
Now,
different megahertz
This
than,
should be deep
whatever
enough.
you have
We should just go
recorded
right
it.
under this pipe. It's pretty burly. Well, the first time I did it, I was like, oh my god. It's like I didn't know if I was going to be low enough to get underneath it. Okay, here we go. Oh my god, I don't think we're going to be able to make it over those boards, though. This is going to get pretty burly, guys. Okay, stay down. We got a limbo. We got a limbo under this thing, man. Oh shit! Here, a second. I wanted you to see it's on. I tried to reverse the camera, and in doing that, I messed up my movement.
Yeah, I guess when all water isn't that deep,
Whoa! So it's deeper now than it was.
Yeah,
last time I
exactly.
went
The
under
higher the
thing.
water level is,
Okay,
the harder
here
it
we
is
go.
to get under that pipe. And you know how if you got the right level. And see, I should have pulled
So
these boards
I went
out.
down the right pipe.
It'll be
time, and I
fast
tried
to
to
pull
make
the
this one
boards out
deeper.
right there.
So we'll see what happens here.
But I can't go over the boards. Not the way it is.
Different raft.
If I blocked up one side, it was all going over the other side, it would totally work.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And
Just
I'm
need
stuck.
another board.
Now I wonder if I sit here long enough, the water will build up and push me over. Like a human dam.
Why is it out of focus?
I want to just do the tunnel, man. Now what I can do is I can lift the board out here and then go with that massive flow, which would be really fun. But I should do that, man.
It's out of focus. The camera's focused. The
Or I can
webcam.
just go over this fall and restart. Here we go. I'm just gonna go through it. Here we go. And we're in, baby. Here we go. Down the tunnel, baby.
See, I got over the thing and had that start, and then had to do a new.
So yeah, I screwed up. I paused the video. I meant to turn it around, and I hit stop on the video. Here we go.
How does it smell inside that?
It smells fine. There's no smell. I mean, it's spring water. It's just spring water going through concrete.
Holy moly!
Yeah.
No, sorry that
It's
I
not like
screwed
there's
up
shit or
that
anything.
video.
I think we know
On the
or
other side
something like
now.
that.
And this is another rapid. This is real rapids right here.
Very little algae in
Test
there.
and see if I can float up over it. It's too. My raft has lost some of its buoyancy. It's lost some of its buoyancy.
That's fun. That was fun
That's
today.
awesome, bro.
God, that was fun, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I just have to work on it a little bit. I understand some things I have to do to make it better. I will do that.
It looks fun as shit. It definitely does.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, man. Holy shit.
Yeah, I bet, bro. I bet.
Didn't know it was there, really. I mean, I didn't know I could do that. And it's so close to being what it needs to be in order to go down. Hey, Bees. What's up? Come on in here, Bees. Bees is like, dude, when are you going to eat dinner? And I was like, I know, right? Come on in, Bees. There ain't nothing to eat here, man. What's up, Bees? Hey, buddy. This video is almost over. 4 more minutes left. Might as well just play it out to the very end.
With a rational authority are off limits, and this is also an obvious failure of American and Western leadership to recognize not only what they're dealing with in the Gaza Strip, which is just yet another Palestinian faction that is using violence to spur political momentum because all diplomatic means had been cut off for them, but also what they're dealing with in Israel, where they're dealing with a fundamentally genocidal political movement and a genocidal society. This Israeli society is primed for genocide. You can look at the viral videos.
Right. And Hamas's directive is to genocide the Jews. So, if someone wants to destroy you and everybody, your family and everyone else that's like you, then that would have to be your response to them. I mean, I don't get it. I don't see how, he's trying to call out Israel's genocide on Hamas without calling Hamas's genocide on Israel.
Viral in Israeli social media.
Yeah, it makes no
Are
sense.
parents actually enlisting their own children?
He
as
makes Hamas like
props
when he says
to mock
terrorists.
Palestinian
Hey, Britt.
children who are dying, dressing them up as as in hijab to mock Palestinian girls who are dying, who are being starved, who are thirsty because the water has been cut off.
Right.
There's a new trend.
That's
started
true.
By an Israeli journalist from Channel 13.
This is
in
true.
Israel, of mocking Palestinian prisoners in the West Bank who were detained for 8 hours and forced to listen to a children's song endlessly to torment them, and they dance around mocking the video of the prisoners. The singer of that children's song was brought to perform in an Israeli military base. You can look at the footage of all the pop singers appearing at military bases or in the so-called Gaza envelope where reservists are preparing to go into Gaza, and it's just straightforward genocidal anthems about reconquering Gaza, driving out its inhabitants, and reestablishing Israeli settlements that are even bigger than the former settlement of Gush Katif. The Israeli Ministry of Intelligence has even introduced a think tank's paper which calls for the full ethnic cleansing of Gaza and forced transfer of its residents to Egypt. They put it forward as an official blueprint for the aftermath of this operation that they call Iron Swords. So that's what the U.S. has greenlit here. And by trying to spur some basic political momentum and relaxation of the siege, I think Hamas might have just agreed to a relaxation of the siege to be able to deliver something for their constituents. By trying to do that with violence, when all diplomatic channels have been cut off, what they've done is forced this conflict into its final phase. I don't think Israel will stop before it believes that it has finished the job that it began in 1948.
Great. That was Max Blumenthal from the Gray Zone. You can read his article, October 7th, Testimonies Reveal Israel's Military Shelling Israeli Citizens with Tanks and Missiles.
Look, testimonies don't mean shit, dude. People saying that doesn't mean shit. People don't know what the fuck's going on when you're inside a house and shit's blowing up. You don't know where it's coming from or what it's doing. And it's just so funny how he says testimonies and then he says reveal as if it's factual. Testimony doesn't reveal anything. The only thing testimony reveals is what the person testified to. It doesn't actually make it factual. It just means that person said something. It doesn't make it factual.
At the Gray Zone. I want to thank the Real News Network
Oh
and
my
its production
God.
team, Cameron.
You know, what about
Granadino,
someone who
and
testifies that Jesus saved them? Is that true, Max?
Besides that, even if they were telling the truth in situations like that, their memory gonna be widely fucking screwed, you know? They're gonna remember shit wrong and things like that. They're gonna exaggerate fucking things and downplay other things and shit like that.
That is the art of straw manning. That is how you do it. You plant all the wrong seeds, you know, and to form your narrative, to convince people of what you want them to believe.
Yeah.
What? Fuckers. All right, so we've been live for 2.5 hours. Holy shit! I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Thanks so
God
much for watching.
damn.
Cyber, thanks for watching and for being a part of the show, buddy. And you guys take
Anytime,
care.
bro.
Hope y'all had fun. Night, everybody.
Night, night.